All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Thursday, December 16th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back, of course, for our afternoon meeting. Great to see all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube. We'll talk to you guys first. Welcome on back. And then, of course, for all of us live in cyber, Christopher, who locked up a hell of a profit just now on this ADGI stock. Great to see him. Great to see Gary. Great to see Grant and all of us otherwise. Patrick, Deborah, we have Mark, Juan, Ari, and all of us otherwise, I should say. Welcome on back. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. I don't have class this afternoon, but I do have a coaching session at 3 p.m. We'll jump to that just a bit later. No Bitcoin, so we'll kind of take our time at least as we talk about the ADGI trade to begin. I was just about to say this thing was making lower highs and on the brink of tanking and breaking down below support. And should that have happened, or, if we didn't see this pop, I was going to say, perhaps we would see this drop down towards 11 or even $10 later on heading into the close. Not to say that still can't happen. I mean, hey, if this is a false break and it snaps right back down from this point, then be careful. But this is a really nice rebound over the last, 3 to 5 minutes, especially that last pop from 1320 all the way up towards just about 1375, 1380 there. Hey, for a stock that's more within our price range like this is one that I feel at least a couple of us would be more keen to trade, 500, 1,000 shares on. I wouldn't do more than that. The liquidity is pretty thin. The order book, the spread could jump around quite a bit, I should rather say. Now, on this run, though, at least to recap the run that we caught from the market open, we were familiar with this stock back from Tuesday of this week when the news came out. It ended up getting crushed like 67, 70%. Really didn't make that dead cat bounce, right? And that's where you heard Fausto say these stocks don't come back. It's to say on the short term they may, but you don't want to hold your breath hoping for when that will be. If it's not that day, then perhaps when will it be? Just go right back to a stock that we ended up trading even last week. I think it was the ARDX. It's the first real run on this stock after it ended up getting crushed since from like July, right, or August time here. Once the news came out, the stock got crushed. There was no dead cat bounce up until here, and it still hasn't even come close to trying to fill the gap, right? So, hey, it doesn't always work out the way that it did on the ADGI stock, where only 2 days later we ended up seeing not only a bit of a dead cat bounce, but damn, this is a really nice beginning of a gap fill. For right now, at least, hey, we'll put it on our watch list again. We'll keep it on our list, rather, I should say. Heading into the close, though, don't hold your breath waiting for like $30 or $32 here, where it ended up beginning to make the drop off from. If anything, I would say right over here around $18, maybe $17.50. This $18.25 here, low back from November 5th. $17.38, low back from November 23rd. That's to say, if it could break higher, that would be the levels to watch out for, right around that 17-ish, 18-ish area. But yeah, for right now, we'll keep this on our list here, the ADGI. Sorry about that. Probably the first of many water breaks today. I've been talking since 9:30 this morning, nonstop. I've had a 20-minute break this whole time. So I made sure to refill up on the water at least, but that'll probably be the first of many. But nonetheless, what we'll do is go right from top to bottom. That is not the SPY on my 5-minute chart. That is ADGI. I don't know what that's doing there. I was about to say we ended up seeing a bit of a retracement back down today, with the markets, the S&P ETF, the SPY, still continuing to push down so far heading into the close. I am short on AMC. I was playing the guessing game with a few of our students in Cyber Group earlier just before we started. And yeah, AMC is one of many stocks we were calling out today, but aside from, I think it was ASRT, which I went scratch on, I was also in that. The AMC was really the only main one I was harping on throughout the day. I actually missed this ADGI throughout the whole run up, my coaching sessions earlier throughout the morning. Hey, I was going over trades from earlier that morning prior to this run up and from the day before. So, we're not always trading in these coaching sessions, mind you. We're going back on trades and going over what happened and where things went wrong, where things went right. Unfortunately, with that being said, I ended up missing out on a good portion of this run. Chris picking up another 16 cents just now in the ADGI in our trading room here. Got in right from 13.50, but hey, 16 cents isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of what he picked up just before. He picked up about $1.12 per share just a moment ago, or I should say earlier at like 2:04. He had posted that profit right in our trading room. He got in from 13.25 there, so he's been stacking them up throughout the afternoon. So yeah, hopefully this continues to push. For right now, we'll keep it going though. Number 2 on the gainers list, the APTO, and we'll be honest with you folks, I'm going to pick one over the other, which I don't need to. We're going to add both to our watch list, but if I were to pick one over the other, I'd rather pick this one. It's a little bit slower moving, right? Making the same type of gap fill on the way up, even looking at the daily chart. So, of course, we're going to put both on our watch list, but this one's showing more direction so far, on the way up. All right, so we'll keep it going here. The KXIN ended up making a pretty good move today. Chart shows a nice run up. It does look pretty good. Ended up beginning to hold off support 150 really well. From there, broke above its opening bell print price right off 154, I think it was. And from there, lifted off. Had a false break at first. Then prior to 10 a.m. Eastern time, ended up beginning to make its real move up. So ended up topping off really well. And with that in mind, I think we ended up even calling out a huge iceberg order early on in pre-market for this trade at $1.80. So, with that in mind, it ended up moving right up there. And then from that point, topped off, pulled back. The rest is history now. This stock's not going anywhere heading into the afternoon. Or I should rather say, if it is going to go anywhere, it's probably just going to continue to drop off. But yeah, for right now, we did pretty well on this trade. Maybe keep it in mind tomorrow if it looks good in the pre-market. ARCT, I mean, hey, nice chart, higher highs throughout the whole day. Impressive. A little thin on the order book, so we'll pass on it. Now, this ASRT, this looked pretty good just a moment ago. It really did. I'm a little upset that this is even just now completely down at this point from the 165 resistance that we were calling out. So at the time, pushing up pretty nicely. We did miss, a decent little portion of this run. Broke from 160 technically here. It was a nice resistance dating back to the after hours yesterday. But 165, looking back on the daily chart even, the high back from early December, the high back from mid-November on 2 occasions. So, I thought with that break, we were going to see a much sharper run up, perhaps to get even closer up to 2 by the afternoon. That would be a huge home run, right? Now, that would be a reach, if anything. But it was very underwhelming. I jumped in from 65, got out at 64, and it took me long enough. Like, I wasted my time on the trade practically. I wasted the 5-cent profit. I thought it was going to give me a lot more. So for right now, I don't know, not too keen about it. Not because I personally lost the penny on it. I can care less about the penny. It's just the fact that it's slow moving right now. It dropped back down. If it's not going to break any higher, there's only one other way it's going to go. So, maybe later on after 3 p.m., if it does show signs of life, then we'll, call it out. I have no problem doing that again, but I want to see if there's anything else looking just a bit better. AMC trade starting to squeak back up a few cents. I got in from a decent price. I've been trading that from the whole morning, so I'll go over that pretty much in full in a bit. The NES trade, kind of near the high of the day right now, trading about 10,000 shares per minute. It's a stock from yesterday, or no, from earlier this week. What was it, back from like Monday this week even? Pop and drop, and then moved up again in the pre-market the following morning. So I don't know. It's making that second win type of move. I don't know if it's as likely to make this whole rampant run back up all the way up towards 3 and above. Yeah, I'm going to pass on it for right now. Hey, if it pops during this meeting, folks, why don't you let me know? If it pops up on your scanner, your high of the day's scanner from Benzinga, perhaps the signals page like I have, let me know, or I'll take a look here on the meantime afterwards. Tell you what, the way the market's looking, and I always say this, if you're new to this afternoon meeting on YouTube or Facebook Live, this is something I say practically every day. At least when there's direction in the market. But with the market dropping off as steadily as it's been today, I'm not expecting to find much on the gainer side, right? I think that's kind of a known fact. There's always one or two that stand out that's going against the grain. Pfizer, APT, which, is either a testing kit stock or, vaccine stock, one or the other. We've traded this one in the past quite frequently. Ended up making a nice push earlier this morning. The only issue, though, is the volume. It's only trading like less than 1 million shares right now. That's like not really a whole lot for what we would want to find at this time of the day. I'd rather continue to follow the APTO, which keeps breaking new highs right now. So, one or the other, right? I'm going to pass on this. Market's down, gold is up. Nice move back up on Nugget here. It dropped off yesterday. We were talking about JDST inverse or bearish, gold miner stock. Nugget trades with gold. So nice pop at the open today. Looks like a nice move back up so far heading into the afternoon. if there's a gold stock that looks really great or a metal stock like PAAS perhaps, maybe I'll keep it in mind. Be something to watch. This one's looking even a little slow. The $23 stock, maybe we'll keep it in mind. We'll see if there's anything looking better. Like AT&T up 7.5% right now. Geez, talking about looking better. This thing's like one of the better looking stocks across the whole board right now. Yeah, how could we not? Trading a whole lot of volume per minute, which is exactly, kind of comparing, one over the other. That's exactly what you would want to see. Pushing right back up towards the highs. I remember AT&T got crushed, like a month or two ago? I mean, really, across the whole year pretty much. No, but I mean, more so, I think it was back in October time. Like, I think it was this drop here. One day in particular, we saw AT&T just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. Jeez. So you take your eyes off a stock for quite a bit. It will only continue to drop off. But for right now, at least on the way up so far heading into the afternoon, we'll keep it in mind. We'll put this on our list. Looks good. Ari here in our cyber group room says Pfizer in from 60.66 out at 60.60 or 60.99. Got about 33 cents on his trade. Yeah, let me jump to Pfizer. I don't know if I saw that on the gainer side here. It's up 3.78%, so obviously wouldn't have found it here on the gainer side, top 50 here. Pushing up really nicely. So, again, right now we'll easily put this back on our list. Nice catch, Ari, and trying to re-break over 61. I think it's going to be a little tussle here, and then from that point, maybe like after 3 or 3:15 Eastern time, if we see a stronger re-break over the level, then perhaps we'll see it make the better move. All right, so let's hop over to the losers list, folks. Actually, in the meantime, another water break. I told you, it's going to be a couple of them. QURE, interesting move here, though. I have no idea what happened to the stock. Down about 30+%. Obviously at the lows right now and shortable. It's got a thin order book, which I'm not necessarily particular about, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty interesting short. Let's see what happened here. QURE shares fall after clinical update from Huntington's disease gene therapy trial. That's the headline, at least. I'm not going to read further because I probably can't pronounce a few of the words in that in that news report. So for right now, let's at least look on the daily chart. Let's see if the stock's breaking all-time lows or not. Certainly breaking 52-week lows. Not all time. Back from November of 18, it bottomed out at 21.98, so it's below that now at this point. $20.90 here back from 2017. The top 21.35. The top, it's below there already, or it's kind of like a little bit underneath that. So for right now, I mean, hey, for right now, just keep this in mind as a good short. Right now, I don't really see much on the order book in terms of the big support levels, so that seems like a pretty good thing for a short opportunity. But otherwise, if you happen to see a lot of buying off the ask, if you happen to see a lot of green on the time and sales, kind of like you do here a bit at 20.05 and $20, then just be on the lookout for a sharp pop back up. So far we haven't had that yet. It seems like even after these green prints coming in, but just that's something to be mindful of. So QURE will add to our list here too. This IRNT, I was hoping for like a nice little dead cat bounce on this, talking about the ADGI stock. IRNT today, it started to move up early in the morning, but then pulled back. I tried jumping into it. I think it was right around here. I went scratch on it, in and out from 5, same price. But otherwise, that's where I just say you don't want to hope and hold. And especially for something like this, there's a reason why there's a reason why the stock's down 30% right now. Bad news came out. I don't know that news off the top of my head. I don't care to check. If it was shortable, I would care to check. This is at the low of the day right now, but it's hard to borrow. Hey, on your platform, if you're not on TradeStation, if you're on IB, Thinkorswim, Fidelity, etc., hey, check to see if it's shortable. If this is shortable on your platform, then you know what? Personally, for you, I would put it on your main watch list. You got an iceberg order here on the bid. That's something that the QURE trade doesn't have as of right now. So if that breaks, then that could lead to a new big drop on the stock. But otherwise, my expectation is a lot of us cannot short this, so I'll pass. DNMR at least is shortable on my platform. And wow, this thing's dropping off. All right, well, who cares about that? Who cares about that stock when we got the DNMR trade here? Jeez. All right, and this is at all-time lows. Even better. This goes to the top of the list here. It's a nice catch. It's not that often you have a stock at all-time lows and that are shortable. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch that you can look at, but it's not that frequent in the cyber group room that we tend to find as steady of an opportunity down that's breaking all-time lows like this. That's shortable. All right, so keep it going, keep it moving, right? See what else is out there. Oh man, this thing is getting clobbered. There we go. Nice new drop on this stock, breaking below 850. A lot of volume getting filled off the bid there. All right, so market's still dropping off. I feel still pretty good about my AMC trade, which I didn't talk about yet. So I'd rather just get to that here in the meantime. So AMC, I'm short on this trade right now, and I've been short from a little bit prior to, what is it, like 1:45 Eastern time. I ended up adding to my position when it ended up re-breaking under 25. I ended up jumping in at first on a half-size position. I was really looking for the over and then under from the opening bell print this morning from $20 or 25.35. It kind of just went right up there, hovered under it, and then dropped. So I was like, oh no, there wasn't even any buying interest there. That means this thing's more likely to, pull back here at this point. I felt more keen to get in, but I didn't want to jump in on a full-size position at that point. That's kind of chasing. So, hey, I want to have a little skin in the game. I ended up jumping in on a half-size at that point, and then I ended up making it a full-size position once it broke below 25 again. It's been breaking under that other blue line at $25, mostly throughout the whole day. The more selling that we have at a big level, unless if it completely reverses on a dropping off right now, what's stopping the AMC from continuing to go with the market here? So, I'm still in this trade on a half-size position. I closed out half of the position at first prior to me starting this meeting at 24.52. It was chopping around there for a little bit, and I told Patrick, one of our students here, we're probably going to have a little tussle around 24.50. We did. For right now, for the other half, I'm hanging on pretty tight. So for AMC short, I definitely like this as a good opportunity heading into the close. And then if the market somehow, make a really sharp bounce back up, then if AMC goes with it, I'll likely cover the second half, at some point. I'm in the money at this point to a good degree. So, all right. I think that's just about all I see on the losers list, folks, albeit the market is like freaking tanking right now. So, I guess I'll do a quick wrap up of the side list stocks here, the airlines, the cruise lines, the casino stocks, maybe. So obviously AAL at the low of the day right now, that seems like a good short, I would imagine. Look at that. That's a funky move up and down on CCL. Jeez, I completely missed that throughout the whole afternoon. Is there any... Oof, I just banged my elbow. Is there any bad news on our news on CCL that led to that squeeze? Looks like Carnival spokesman tells Benzinga. I don't know. Just got a bunch of stuff out there. I'm not going to go through it all, but I don't know. Popped up pretty nicely, pulled back pretty nicely. I like the volatility, at least. That's what I could tell you. So, you know what? Out of some of the side list stocks, I can't add them all to our main watch list, folks. We'll have like 30 stocks on the main list at that point, but I'll keep cherry picking. But CCL looks pretty interesting to me. That move up and down, that catches my eye. I feel like that can make a sharper drop heading into the close. Oh, baby, the SPY is falling off a cliff right now. You see that on the 5-minute chart mainly, that orange ticker there at the bottom of the 5-minute chart. But otherwise, I just wanted to show this here up front. UVXY did an under and over, says Juan. So you know what? In the meantime, with the market's dropping off head first. And listen, I'll put UVXY on our watch list. This is an ETF. So unless if you're really proficiently skilled with trading ETFs, then I would likely just follow the equities heading into the afternoon. Try and short some stocks heading into the close, or otherwise see if there's some stocks like the APTO that are going against the grain. That it doesn't really matter if the markets are dropping off. We're seeing a nice little push on this trade throughout the whole afternoon, right? you know, these ETFs, it's much more difficult to apply level 3 and find iceberg orders for. So that's really where that comes from. I think there's another ETF if I want to add one to our list. Cold. One of us talked about it earlier today. It's only up 2% though, and it did pull back quite a bit. So pass on it. Phil on Pfizer. Man, nice. Got in from 59.92, picked up 90 cents on his trade, and here comes the next test off 61. And this one's getting retested a lot sooner from the last retest prior, meaning the time difference here is a lot bigger than the time difference from what will be here. So that's a pretty bullish sign, in my opinion. We'll see if this happens to blow the roof off 61 here coming up. Or Pfizer, trade Pfizer on the way up, right? Like I was talking about APTO. Look at Pfizer on the way up, right? Gene on the ADGI. Oh, is that back in play? He just got out, so perhaps not back in play, right? With this pulling back, Gene got out practically, or he got out, stopped out at 1381. He wrote his entry was at 1330. Timely exit. It popped above 14, and as soon as it snapped right back down under it, you know, this is where I say when a big volume level gets filled, you'd like to think there's going to be a pretty big move shortly after, right? If you bought above 14, which Gene didn't, he was in the trade from a good price, but if you bought above 14 and pulls right back down, you get out. You run for the hills. You don't want to hold on for this to happen. All right, folks. So, hey, let me know if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5%. Anything else that's moving pretty well. Either way, I mean, really, up or down. Tell you what, now at this point, with this ADGI, I mean, we're going to keep it on our list, but it's not going to be on the top of the list at this stage after this last false break. Going once, going twice. You know what I'll do actually really quick, because I normally on the Benzinga Pro signals feed, I usually have the highs of the day alert up, you know, with the markets plunging. Let's go to the lows of the day, and I'll bring that up even before I close. Cutting a little close on time. All right, so any familiar names that are popping up here on my losers signals page? Clove, that's one. Nothing else that's really ringing a bell here so far. Otherwise, CCL is on the brink of breaking lower, so that will pop up, I'm sure, soon enough. But that Clove stock, perhaps. Nothing else that's really popping up very frequently either. So nothing that's dropping too fast, I think. Oh, no, this is like super slow here. All right. I think that just about does it, folks. All in all, we got just about 2, 4, 6, 8 stocks to work with. Actually, we're going to be exact, 7 stocks, 1 ETF. We'll call it. All right, folks, for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. If you want to learn more about what we do here at Cyber Trading University, you have 2 options. If you're not ready to join our live trading room yet, if you have a question or email that you'd like to send over, feel more than free to do so. Just post my email address as always on the stream here, josh@ctutrading.com. Otherwise, if you're ready to join us, continue the audio commentary that we have lined up from 3 p.m. onward this afternoon, just go right down to the link on the banner below the stream there just to get yourself started. All right. For Ari, for Gene, for Juan, for Phil, for Chris, who did well very nicely earlier on the ADGI. Congrats again to all, actually. I'll talk to you all coming up at 3:30 Eastern. Take care.